2025 is a year of AI. Every day when I open my LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram, there's a bunch of AI tutorials, masterclass. It seems we are drowning in AI. All the leaders and individuals are. But guess what? The tutorials, if you want to do it. But it's not going to take you and make you the champion in AI. You need an upgrade of your leadership operating system, Leadership OS. And that's what I am going to talk about in today's video. And you will learn why you need a leadership operating system upgrade and how that OS 2.0 of leadership looks like. Second, and we'll talk about the 6 strategic competencies that the operating system needs. And third, we'll have an installation guide, how to actually apply in real world and be the champion you want to be and progress in your career. So, ready to dive in? Let's first talk about leadership operating system, why you need a new leadership operating system. Let me give an example of a senior manager. Let's call her Sarah. And Sarah, whenever she starts her work during the day, she will have 17 AI tools and technology in various tabs open, and from Gemini or ChatGPT to Claude for strategy, Notebook LM for research, Midjourney for image generation, Gamma for presentation, and so on and so forth. And she knows more or less how to use it. And during one of her presentation to senior management, one of the senior VP asked her, "Okay, Sarah, what is your gut feeling about this decision?" And she went numb. She froze. She froze not because she did not have the data. That was not the problem. Because she did not look at whatever output the LLM tools are giving and why. She just went ahead and used the tools and produced a report without knowing fully what's in there. That's dangerous. And then what is happening then? We are using the AI tools and technologies in our old operating system, old leadership operating system. And this is exactly what MIT lab study found out. And I shared that in details in my previous video. And it is clear that we are offloading our cognitive thinking to AI and LLM and other tools. And due to that, we are becoming more and more dumb and not smart, not effective. And that's why you need a different ways of thinking, different operating system, which is, by the way, is that you amalgamate your own critical thinking and enhance that with the AI tools, and let not AI substitute or replace your thinking. And that requires a different kind of thinking and different kind of operating model. And if you are not able to do that, it's almost like you are running ChatGPT in Windows 95. Then let's talk about what that system, that Leadership OS 2.0 looks like. And here I am going to give you a glimpse of the 6 strategic competencies which I believe you must have to be successful in this new age of AI as a leader and as an individual. The first is the core domain knowledge. Contrary to many pundits believe, I think more than ever you need a specialization in your core domain knowledge. I call it core specific knowledge. And by the way, I picked it up from Naval Ravikant's book, Almanac of Naval Ravikant. And if you have not read it, go and read it. It's wonderful. And there he talks about the core specific knowledge, which is something like this. You have a knowledge in a particular area where you believe you are 99% better than others. And it may be a combination of various things. So someone may be an expert in a particular market, knowing the customers and knowing how to crack a new deal with them. That is your core specific knowledge. That's one example. There would be other examples. Someone may have a data-driven thinking in the new world of economics and geopolitics. So you need to find out what is your niche, what is your core specific knowledge, which makes you better than 99%. Once you find out this, that's not enough. You need to have continuous learning and curiosity. That's your new mantra, new ammunition. That's the second one, curiosity and learning. And you know why that is important? There was a recent study by Deloitte where they highlighted the half-life of skill today is less than 5 years. So whatever you learned 2020 or before is already obsolete. if that is true. Even if that is not true, it's very important you learn continuously. Learning should never stop, and be curious. And talking about that, one of the learning, and that's where we come to the strategy competency 3, which is AI literacy and AI fluency. It's just not enough for you to go and learn various AI tools and technologies. You must do that, by the way. You should not be like me, and I shared that in one of my previous videos, an AI ignorant or AI skeptic. You need to have AI as your partner. For that, you need to learn those tools and technologies for sure. But at the same time, you need to make sure you learn continuously, because I am told every 3.5 months, the potency and the power of AI is getting doubled, 100% improvement. So you need to continuously learn to keep ahead of the pace, which is very difficult, by the way, nowadays. But that's where we are today. And talking about AI fluency, and I come to the 4th skill now, you should not consider whatever AI is giving you as an output as the sacrosanct and you cannot change that. Many times AI will hallucinate, and that's why you need your own judgment and critical thinking. Critical thinking and your judgment is your superpower. If you just blindly follow, you become a slave to AI. You are not the master, you are not the champion. And many are actually doing that, not thinking enough, and just following whatever AI is giving as an output and going and presenting that, like the story I shared about Sarah. You should not be like that. And by the way, I had a similar situation. I shared it in my previous video as well. So you need to learn from those mistakes and have your critical thinking and judgment. And that's your another superpower. Coming to number 5 is the data fluency or data literacy. All the AI models and LLMs are trained on data. So you need to understand what kind of training. Suppose you have the internally in your organization, you are implementing AI, you need to understand what kind of data you need for training and how to develop that, how to curate that. You need to have a good understanding of that. But also at the same time, you can consider data as a very, very important aspect of your decision making. It's just not about looking at trends, what data is showing, also looking at the outlier, and also understanding what data you are looking at and what for, and make a meaning out of that. More than ever, we need a data-driven thinking. We are just drowning in the data deluge today. We need to make those information into real insights. That's where the data fluency and data literacy comes in. And here is number 6. Again, talking about data, the AI model and everything, they can analyze and throw you some analysis and insights. All these are fine. But sometimes there are things which AI model will not be able to pick up. I'll give an example of a CEO who actually predicted the attrition of his organization is going to go up because he started getting questions from high-performing employees, which are different kind, and that gave him an indication something is happening. And that's how he predicted that there will be an increase in attrition, and no AI model could predict that. So you need that critical thinking, that connect, how you connect the dots, how you communicate with your employees, how you collaborate, and how you become resilient. So you have to have that connect. So these are the 6 strategic competence you need. Your core specific knowledge or domain knowledge, curiosity and learning, AI fluency and AI literacy, critical thinking, data fluency, and connect. If you have these 6 together, then you have a new operating system. You are rewriting your operating system and you are becoming the champion. Now let's talk about how to install that new operating system, how to go about it. The first thing you should do an assessment against those 6 strategic competencies where you stand today. And I can tell you, anyone who is doing that assessment, most of them will have 2-3 areas. They are very strong, 2-3 areas where they need to improve significantly or to some extent. And that's very normal. So if you get that kind of assessment output, you should not be bothered. That's very normal. So do that assessment first. Once you do that, the second step is integrated thinking process. So take one project or one task or one challenge in your office next week where you start applying all these 6 strategic competencies together to a large extent. So it's not about just looking at one competency and trying to improve. You start looking at that challenge and bring in all these 6 strategic competencies and see how it works out. And the third, you continue to adjust based on your learning. How is it going? Continue to adjust your approach, adjust your learning, and see where you go with that. If you do all this together, my friend, you are not only installing a new operating system, you are moving much ahead of many of the other folks who are still getting worried by AI and thinking AI as a threat, not as a companion, not as a partner, because they are still operating with the old operating system. And here you are with the new operating system, and it elevates your stature, it elevates your journey, and you continue to progress in your career. If this sounds interesting, let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll be more than happy to bring more AI related topics in my future videocast, and we can discuss further. So looking forward to your comments. Do subscribe, share, like, and I come back with more such insightful leadership stories, strategies, and topics.